What's good, YouTube? It's your boys, Lincoln and Garrett, coming
Here
at
for
you.
the main card.
Exactly, coming at you with some fucking cold embers. Anyway, actually, no. So
Kyler Phillips comes in.
Yeah. So real quick, we talked about in the last episode how it was not an extremely exciting card. It had its moments. This main card started super strong, super duper strong.
First three fights, amazing.
Yeah. Go ahead, do your Kyler Phillips thing.
So Kyler Phillips, round 2, comes in, gets the mount, finishes with ground and pound TKO. What else do you want from this kind of fight? Is it good? Even round 1 and then round 2 he comes in, mounts him, and gets the ground and pound. Very similar to the next fight as well.
Yeah, pretty much with Daquan Townsend and Todorovic. Dusko being another Contender Series alum from Season 3 last year, finally cashing in his UFC debut. And
he got the Money in the Bank contract.
Yeah, coming out strong against Townsend, the Tarantula, who was very composed through the fight, definitely had a good poker face, but was just getting absolutely smashed pretty much the entire time. And Todorovic had great head movement, was just dodging out of every strike and just took control of the fight pretty much from start to finish.
I almost forgot that he was a Contender Series alumni until they started doing the pre-fight promos and whatnot. I completely forgot about this guy, but gosh darn, is he going to be one of the best of the Contender Series alumni to debut in the UFC?
Yeah, for sure. So that was great. And then we finished the exciting fights of the night with Jermaine Durandamy versus Juliana Penne, excuse me.
Penne.
And this was impressive for Durandamy. Oh, stupid. Durandamy. I just combined the first and last name there into Durandamy. Excuse me.
Durandamy.
Yeah. But we have Jermaine here, and she is coming off of her second loss to Amanda Nunes earlier this year, and is really fighting back the new blood in Juliana Penne. And doing a good job at that. Penne was not one to be easily squashed out here, but Jermaine Durandamy definitely came on strong in the striking department. Was trying to do the best she could. Not really as – you could definitely see her evolve as a fighter, and I think that's the big takeaway from this fight is that she's still evolving. Even at her growing age and experience, the amount of wear and tear she's had throughout the years, she's still evolving, and that's what I love about her. And even though I don't think her takedown defense was really – improving, so to speak, she definitely came out with something big here, as you guys will see. A big submission attempt. I mean, big, huge submission right at the end of round number 3, close to the end, and just syncs up a perfect guillotine and doesn't just get a tap. I mean, she puts this woman to sleep.
Juliana wasn't going out if she wasn't going to sleep.
Exactly.
That's how I felt about it. Is she had Jermaine really had to take it away from her if she wasn't going to let it go. Like, if this went to the judges' scorecard, it could have gone either way. Without that guillotine, Jermaine really had to do that, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
To cement it, for sure.
It definitely killed her.
She just fucking died.
Do I say that too often? Do I say it all the time? When someone goes out, do I always have to say, yeah, she died? She got absolutely fucking massacred. It's almost like, and it's like, whenever I first started saying it, it was like, I meant to like say it as like a metaphor, like that person looked like they died.
It's like you're just dead.
Yeah, like now you're just dead. I'm sorry.
You're just fucking gone, dude. You shouldn't have even tried.
Yeah, well, Unfortunately, I have a poor way with words sometimes,
No, that was
as you can
beautiful.
see with Durandamy here. Um,
You got me crying on a podcast, dude.
oh man, but yeah. So and
With
what's
that
even
dog
greater,
excitement.
and what's even greater, and what I think is even the biggest step up for Jermaine here is that this is her first submission victory in the Octagon, which to
Yeah,
me it's crazy.
because whenever yeah, because whenever I saw it and I was just like, oh, that was a beautiful submission, and then I remembered, oh yeah, she's a kickboxing champion. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, this is her first submission ever.
yeah,
Holy shit.
yeah. It slowly starts to sink
Yeah.
in. The
Once
just
they started saying stuff, I was like, oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, that's
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah. And plus,
That's even more impressive now.
yeah, against a woman who is very versed in jiu-jitsu. It's pretty crazy, you know. I mean,
It
it's one of those
really
things. It's MMA.
is.
Anything could happen.
Yeah.
And anything did happen. That's what's so great. But yeah, so there you have it.
And that adds the excitement for the night.
Yeah, that pretty much goes downhill from here, ladies and gentlemen. And I didn't think it would when we went to Jorgen De Castro and Carlos Felipe.
I did.
It started pretty great, and you could kind of tell that unless this fight ended early, that it was going to go to the decision, and it was not going to be a pretty 15 minutes.
Yeah, ever since DeCastro kind of just threw in the towel against Greg Hardy, I've kind of just had no respect for him.
Yeah, I mean
Uh,
I mean he finished big against what was his name, Takada.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to remember it.
Kai Moikata.
Yeah, um,
Yeah, and after that KO, I thought, oh, so this is the next Mark Hunt.
mhm,
Like this is what you're giving me. And then
mhm,
he fought against Greg Hardy, disappointing. Fought
right.
against Carlos Felipe, disappointing. Carlos Felipe coming in with the win.
Yeah,
Big flurry at the end of round 3,
yeah,
deserves the win.
yeah. Felipe definitely did a good job, just kind of really just out techniquing
Out
De
combos.
Castro. Yeah, I mean he was coming in with all the strength, the fury, really the speed for me is what just kind of like cemented this fight for Felipe. You were gonna just, I mean, he had a good few exchanges of his own, but he just had a hard time keeping up in the fight. But what really kind of put me to sleep later was just how every time, especially in the third round, it started to get pitiful for like the last 4 to 3 minutes. All Jorgen De Castro did was just push Felipe up against the cage, and that's it. And he just he just didn't
That's all he
have
could do.
he just didn't have anything left to offer. And but my problem is that if you're gonna do stuff like that, you have to do something with it. You have to be progressive. You have to advance in some way. Um, you know, hats off to the referee who kept separating them from the fence because nothing was happening. But I have to ask the question: at what point do you have to sit De Castro aside and say, "Look, you can't keep going back to that position if you're not going to do anything"?
That's why we need to bring in yellow cards for heavyweights. Only
Um,
for heavyweights.
I mean, at this point, when you see shit like that, it just becomes an issue of what the hell. And Felipe, my issue with Felipe in that exchange was, you know, if you're going to get frustrated and talk, you know, during that time period too, it falls onto you as the opponent to take it upon yourself to do something about it. You know, if it frustrates you so much that he just keeps pushing you to the cage and isn't doing anything, why don't you, you know, sidestep, do one of those crazy, you know, clap the back of the neck, slip, you know,
Yeah.
do one of those, you know, clip, arm, slip, and just you know, bail, get out of there. He kept, I mean, he started to do that I think a little bit later, but he was trying to do the tie clinches with the knees, and just let himself get sandwiched between this 240-pound man and the fence, and it just wasn't working. It wasn't working for me, and the ref, you know, had to keep separating them every like 3 seconds, and And what's even more disappointing for me is the level of denial with Jorgen De Castro, in that even after just hugging his opponent and doing
Preach!
nothing for the last
Preach!
3 minutes, thought he won and was disappointed in the outcome. You could be disappointed in the outcome, but how can you stand there? And this is me trying to show as much respect as possible. I love Jorgen De Castro. You're a fighter. I can only hope to do what you do for a living. But that being said, you have to be grounded in reality enough to know you did not do enough to win the fight. You were not pushing the action. You were pushing. That does not mean you were pushing the action. Sorry. Had to say it.
Hey, I'm all in agreement, sir.
Yeah. So anyway, that fight
Moving on to the main event.
Yeah. Holly Holm versus Irene Aldana, excuse me. And
Holly Holm on a goddamn clinic on her face is what she did.
yeah, Holly Holm busted her up.
Preacher's daughter is here for an amen.
I gotta say, this was. I mean, I knew Holly Holm was just gonna end up winning. She was pretty much dominating on the feet. Her wrestling was actually pretty great. And I have to say that this was I hate saying this. This was at the point of the night where I could barely stay awake.
Yeah.
Like this was past midnight at this point. And keep in mind, guys, this was a long card. Nearly every fight on this card went the full 15 minutes, and this main event went the full 25 minutes. And I kind of expected that from the likes of Holly Holm. At this stage in her career, she's just working a lot more on her technique and outpointing opponents and not trying to rush for those finishes. That's what experienced fighters do, and I recognize that. But it's hard when it's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning and you've seen nothing. You have seen like 3 whole fights the entire night that really capture your attention. And it is, I guarantee you, Lincoln, I missed rounds 3, 4, and 5. And
I believe it.
And I woke up right as they were announcing the winner.
I believe it. I mean, you didn't really miss much. Just a lot of Holly Holmes driving it home that she's still a title contender and wants one more chance.
Yeah.
2 decision victories after her loss to Amanda Nunes, and I think she's ready for a rematch.
Yeah, I think so. We'll get it. I think it'll happen. Jermaine got her rematch earlier this year. I think Holly Holm deserves her rematch. She's still great. If there is one thing technically wise I can really elevate Holly Holm for, is I really loved how she was able to put together combos, break away from Aldana, and then while Aldana instinctively wants to advance herself, Holly Holm delivers that spinning kick right to the body, which I thought, I mean, it happened over and over and over again. I thought it was delivered beautifully pretty much every time. It's a great offensive and defensive technique at the same time. Beautiful. Really was what was the standout thing for me in that fight. What
I'd have to
little
agree.
of it I saw, I ended up saying, just because it's like when round 1, round 2, round 3 happen, little caught most of round 3. It's just kind of like you see the pattern, you see what's happening, you see Aldana doesn't really have anything to offer. She can't really get past that reach of Holm. Holm just, you see what Holm is able to bring to the table, and that's what happens. She gets the decision. Boom, bada bing, bada bam. She's up for another title shot, in my opinion. So, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So, unless you have anything left to say, I think that's actually going to do it for this episode.
Nope. Let's wrap it up.
All
Like, comment, subscribe, RUNAMUCK MMA.
Yep.
Have a good night. Love y'all.
Yep. See you guys next time. Peace.